Everybody, you're welcome to our channel today. This is Family Aspect, and I want to be talking about protecting your marriage against external influences. Are you aware that statistically speaking, that external influences, all right, has a negative impact, majorly external negative influences have major impacts on our marriage, strains every marriage that you see on the face of the earth. Now, statistically, we have seen, based on the latest information, that the United States, over 20% of marriage people are affected by external influences such as social media, families, friends, and also financial burdens and jobs. Or many of these things have been happening in marriages. So I want to bring your attention to something very important here. The first thing is to understand that these these external influences have impact. They can have impact on our relationships. They can have impact on our marriages. The question is, what are these external influences? Now, before I proceed, here are some statistics that illustrate the extent, the extent of these influences in our various countries that we see, especially in the United States, United Kingdom, and some other part of the world. Now, a study has shown to us that social media is often cited as a cause of tension in marriage. Up to 25% of couples in the United States has been reported that social media leads to or have led to increase in jealousy or arguments in their marriage. And another information gives that nearly 20% admit to checking their partners' social media platforms or social media details to just see if they are carrying out any form of infidelity against them. Now, that is just one information. Then in the United Kingdom, statistically, the latest information from the UK 2023 shows that financial pressure, communication breakdowns are primary reasons for divorce, with this factor contributing to a stabilization in divorce rates. So that means these particular financial burdens and communication breakdown is plaguing every marriages in the United Kingdom up to a certain degree as we speak. Now, the influence of social media and online interactions on marital abilities or marital stabilities, all of these things are affecting marital stabilities. And also, it is noted that this thing is growing huge in the United Kingdom. And you can find that out on the CP Law Association. Now, in the global spectrum, various studies has indicated that globally, 20% or 30%, between 20 to 30% of marriages end up due to issues related to infidelity and influences of external relationships. Again, this is statistics, okay? And we are also told that financial strains contributes to over 35% of divorces around the world. Financial strain. contribute to over 35% divorces around the world. Can you imagine that? And which is contributing to the economic instabilities, especially in the Europe region and North America. So these pressures are increasing by the day. These are external influences. Now, having given you the statistics, I would like to, let's break it down in a minute before we move on to the points. What are we talking about? Protecting your marriage against external influences. Now, these are principles that you can employ that will help you prevent your marriage against external influences. Now, let me tell you a story. Before I got married 11 years ago, before I got married, I was told I went to a seminar. There are different seminars I went to. Before I got married, I went to different meetings, different seminars on marriages and relationship, I read different books. But there was one that stood out to me majorly, was the fact that I should never, if you're married, if you're going to be married, you should never allow your parents or friends, in quote, third parties, to interfere in your marriage. In fact, a particular meeting that I went to, a seminar, was on that topic that whole day. And they were citing different instances of negative impact of allowing external influences like family members, parents, interfering in our marriage, interfering in various kinds of relationships that their children have. And that got me to know how important that is. And ever since, I took that principle on board, because if you study in the Bible, you also find these things there. And it has helped me a lot. It has helped me. It has helped our marriage a lot. It has helped our marriage a lot. So that's the reason why I'm sharing this with you. And it is so important to know what are these external influences that can destroy your marriage and your happiness in your relationship as a married person. Very important. So an external influence are any factors or people or circumstances outside of your marriage that can affect the health of your marriage, that can affect the stability of your marriage, that can affect the unity of your marriage. These are the things you look at for. These are the external influences. They are any factors, people, or circumstances outside your marriage that have the power to affect the health of your marriage, that has the power to affect the stability of your marriage, that have the power, the ability to affect the unity of your marriage. These influences can be negative most times, because we're dealing with now negative influences. I'm not looking at the positive side, because there are positive influences that I will talk about. But today I want to focus on the negative influences that you should be aware of. That's why we said protecting your marriage against these negative influences, external influences. So these influences are negative. Okay, they're negative. And these include family members interfering in your marriage, advising you on what to do. And most of them, they themselves are not married. Some of them are divorced. Some of them are just hopping around. They are the one to advise you on what to do. Some of them, they are cracking, the marriage is crashing down. They are just not worthy to give you some counsel. And we have friends who have nothing to offer but negative advices to deprive you of your joy instability in your marriage. Friends, social norms. Oh, I'll come to that in a moment. Social norms. What the community, the culture, and the society is telling us what marriage means. How to deal with our families, how to deal with our relationship with our partners. I mean, the society is telling us what to do. And we'll look into that also. And also we have financial stress. Financial stress contributes to external, can be seen as external influences. Financial stress. We'll look at all of these things. And also we have the dynamics of workplaces, where you work. Those can contribute to external forces. We'll look at that in a moment. So negative external influences can create discord in your marriage, can create temptation or unhealthy behavior patterns in your marriage. And this can affect the bond, the unity, the peace that you are supposed to enjoy in your marriage. And these are truths, these are facts that you should be aware about or aware of. Now, let's take some of the examples of these external influences. Let's look at them, and also we'll look at some Bible verses to back it up, to help us understand what these external influences are and how to protect our marriage against them. I already start with giving you an example. Let's go into the details, okay, so you understand. Number one is family interference. Family interference. And this is very important to understand that family interference is when your parents or siblings try to impose their opinion on your marriage. They try to impose their advice, or they try to impose their preferences on you, on your relationship, on your marriage. And this can lead to terrible discord. This can lead to an argument, imbalance in decision making in your marriage. Because when you try to make decisions, you will be considering the third party advice. You will be considering the third party opinions that they have tried to impose on you or on your marriage. And that can actually affect clear decision making between you and your spouse. That affects clear decision making between you and your spouse. And that should be taken note of, because you see, imbalance in marriages today, or imbalances in decision making, have a great rate. It has a high rate, okay, connecting it to the influence of parents and siblings. There are a lot of story, and I mean true life story regarding this. A lot of true life story. So family interference is a big one. Let me read a Bible verse to you so you understand what I mean. Genesis chapter 2, verse 20, verse 24. Genesis, let me read the book, Genesis chapter number 2, verse 24. So let's turn the Bible. You have a Bible, let's read it. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Book of Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. I want you to see this. It says, verse 24, this explains why a man leaves. This explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and two are united into one. This explains why a man leaves his father. A man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, cleave to his wife. And two of them will become one flesh. Did you see that? So it tells us that a man leaves his father and mother and are joined to the wife. So that means leaving them means to be separated from their opinion, separated from their influences over your marriage. And this is the truth that we must understand. This is the reality that we must pay attention to. Do not allow your parents make the decision on how your marriage work. Do not allow your parents, your siblings, have a say in what goes on in your home. To do that is to allow imbalances to take a hold of your family, to take a hold of your life, to take a hold of your marriage. Is to allow more problem into your home. And that is not what you want to accommodate. So this verse that we just read, Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, emphasized the need for you and your wife, you and your husband, to establish your own family unity, your own family districts, your own family distinctions. So in other words, be distinct from your parents, be distinct from their opinion, be distinct, be different. Have your family, your own marriage should be different from your parents' experiences and interferences. You see, you got to understand that. So it highlights very important points of placing mental relationship above external family, your marital relationship above external family influences. So you have to place major importance on your marital relationships. It's very important to place importance on your marital relationships. Okay, above external family influences. Do not let, I repeat, do not let any of your siblings or your parents begin to suggest how your marriage should work or interfere in what goes on in your home. That's very important. Number two, negative influences. Number two are negative friendships. Now, the kind of friends can be a very important aspect to which your marriage survives. The kind of friends that you have. Now, friends who do not share similar values with you, or who disrespect the marriage, who disrespect marriage at large, can lead to harmful situations in your marriage. They can encourage infidelity. They can encourage unhealthy behaviors. So what kind of friends do you have? If you are married and you have friends who are divorced, certainly that you will be corrupted in a very short while. I mean, your besties are divorced. You're married, but your best friends are divorcees. You're married, but your best friends are in practicing infidelity. Then very soon you might be caught up in that behavior. That is an external influence that can harm your relationship with your spouse. 1 Corinthians chapter number 15, verse 33, it says, do not be missold. Bad company corrupts good character. Do not be missold. Bad company corrupts good character. So when you keep bad companies, it will corrupt good aspect of your marriage. So here's a simple example I'm trying to let you know. Do not keep friends. Do not keep friends who does not respect the value of marriage. Do not keep friends who does not respect the importance of marital bliss, joy, peace in marriage. Do not keep friends who still engage in infidelity if you're married. Do not keep friends. Okay? Who are still, you know, they are divorced, you see, or separated. And then their conversation is not leading to any good. In fact, they are excited that they are where they are now. And you are married and they are not, or they are separated or divorced. Never keep such friends. Never keep such friends, because it will affect your relationship in the long run. As long as you keep party and make those people your friends and besties, that can affect your relationship. It can affect your marriage, your family. So as couples, be cautious about your friendship. Be very cautious about your friendship. Be very cautious about your friendship. Avoid spending time with people who encourages behavior that can harm your marriage. Avoid it. There are people who just encourage negative behaviors that destroy homes. Don't do it. You're a man, by 6 o'clock, you close from work and you're supposed to go home straight. And you have these friends that encourage you to stay behind, follow them to the bar or to the club, or follow them to wherever it is. And then you stay and come home at about 12 midnight. That kind of friendship must discontinue. You must discontinue that kind of friendship. You're a lady, you go to a hairdressing salon, and as you sit down and you hear all these ladies talking about how their husband is this and they are no this, and then that's why they separated, that's why they you're listening. Never go to that salon again. Never. Because that's exactly the seed that they are sowing there. And as long as they discuss such things there, it's gonna, every time you go there, you're gonna have a feel of it. They are feeding you. So stay away from such environment. You must look at the environment that you're in and observe those things that can affect your relationship, your marriage. You want to stay away from that. It is a consciousness. We're talking about protecting your marriage from external influences. There are, make no mistakes about it. Once you're married, there are things that will come against you to put you off. And this is why I'm sharing this with you. Number three. The number three is media entertainment. This is one of the major external influences that run many homes and families today. The social media, movies, TV shows. We see couple dragging over TV remote because of Love Island. You see couple dragging TV remote because of Big Brother, whatever. And the new season, the new series is out. Season 1, season 2. And then there is this. You must watch everything. And worst case is the social media aspect, where you are on the phone scrolling. You are on TikTok scrolling everything that scrolls. You are on Instagram scrolling everything that scrolls. I mean, the time that you're supposed to have to spend with your spouse, that's the time you spend hours and hours and hours and scroll and scroll. In fact, you will see husband and wife sitting opposite each other or adjacent each other, and both of them are on phones. They can be there for hours and not talk to each other. And they wonder why there's so much problem in their communication. They wonder why there's so much competition in the marriage. Because As you scroll, the question is, what is influencing you? As you watch those TV series, you must watch those TV series. You must listen to that music. And then every time you're listening to that music, it's separating you from your partner. You are creating a gap. Every time that you are away from your partner, there is a gap. That's a gap right there. You should never allow a gap between you. That's why I say you should be joined to your wife. Joint means that there is no gap. Now, the very dangerous thing about medias, social medias, and media entirely, and entertainment is that it's a subtle thing. The effect is subtle. The effect, the way the influence of this particular media and entertainment industry, how this external influence affects marriages and destroy marriages and homes is very subtle. Very subtle. It affects attitude. It begins to affect the way you think, the way you behave towards your relationships. And again, there are so many unrealistic expectations that social media and entertainment portray, especially those who seems to be celebrities. And they're trying to tell us how to live, how to run your marriage. These people are trying to give you a picture of what life ought to be. You see, very important. They are glorifying infidelity. They are telling you this is how marriage is supposed to be. They are promoting promiscuity or immorality. They are promoting all sorts of these things on the TV, on the media. And all of these things are going on. And they are exposing our children to these things as well. Exposing these things so that our children will be affected. So you need to protect. What kind of things do you allow on your social media? What kind of things do you allow on your TV? What kind of things do you allow? Very important. I want to read a verse of scripture to you. It's Philippians chapter number 4, verse 8. Let me read it to you quickly. Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. You have this is one thing that you must pay attention to. Very important. I want to read a scripture to you. Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Look at it here. Verse 8. It says, and now, dear brothers and sisters, on final thing, fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely. Did you see that? Fix your thoughts on admirable things. Think about the things that are excellent and worthy of praise. You see? Think about these things. Things that are excellent and worthy of praise. So what you consider, what you think about, what you see, what you think about are all in your vision, in your media box. They are all in your media box. They are on the TV, they are on your phone, your gadgets. It's all in there. These can have great impact negatively. So the verse that I just read to you is an encouragement. It's encouraging you to focus on the content that promotes purity, goodness, and healthy relationship. A content that can help protect you, protect your mind and your heart from negative media influences. Now, there's a positive side of it. If you're listening to advices on how to keep your marriage healthy and strong on the social media, that's beautiful. If you're reading books or watching series that help to build a happy home, that promotes respect and honor and submission and dignity in your home, that is okay. That's beautiful. But not on the negative things. And guess what? 90% of what they show to us on those medias are negative. They are all buoyant. Listen, on this social media of recent, I was shocked to hear that. Let me tell you, it's on the internet. Go and search it for yourself. I saw a woman who came on the air. He came on the air, which he said she is happy to marry 2 husbands. So she was married, or she is married to 2 husbands. And the 2 husbands actually came and addressed themselves as husbands to, I mean, their husband. This is the first husband, like you have first wife. They need the second husband. And both of them says they are happy having her as their wife. I thought, what is going on in our society? Where is morals? So a woman now can boldly come on social media and influence millions around the world, telling them it is okay to have 2 men or more than 2 men as husbands under her own roof. My question is, where are we at today with entertainment and media? Where are we at? Gradually, they have encouraged, gradually, all around the world. So through the social media and the entertainment industry, the media houses, they have now programmed, you see, it's now okay. It's not okay now to see a man and a woman, a man and a man living together, husband and wife, and a woman living together as husband. It is now okay. It's now programmed into the society. See, as though it's normal. So gradually, the society, they are accepting it as a normal thing. How terrible. How terrible. How terrible. A man have forgotten the use and the importance of a woman and turn that into another man, again, or using it for another man. So the use of a woman, the benefit of a woman is no longer recognized by a man, now found in another woman. Man liking man, woman liking woman. How terrible. The society, the social media, the entertainment industry, corrupting the minds of people. So what you watch, what you allow your social media can be a great impact on your life and your marriage. I'll leave it at that because there's so much I would like to talk to you on that. But you know what? Let's save it for another day. Number four, this is workplace temptation. This is another external influence that you must protect, you must guard against. Workplace temptation. What is this? It means when you spend significant time with colleagues at work, and this colleague is opposite sex, and particularly in a close or personal manner, this can lead to inappropriate emotional attachments, or even worse, fidelity. There are some it's amazing what goes on at workplace. You are married, you're a married man or a married woman, but you're having an intimate conversation, emotional conversation with another opposite sex at work, another opposite sex at work. And you spend time to talk about each other emotional needs. You are creating a problem for yourself. You're married and you're doing that. Or you allow yourself into that kind of conversation. That is dangerous. That is what workplace, the external forces that come from that workplace. It brings temptation where you have beautiful beautiful colleagues, handsome colleague working with you, and then you're married, your body is vibrating towards them, or you have that moment where you can go subtle and then just talk softly and talk romantic and then discuss things. Oh dear, what an error. What an error. You are opening the gates of hell to your marriage. So spending significant time with colleagues at work who is an opposite sex and having that close proximity, that close personal communication, having that close personal manner with them is an inappropriate. It will lead to emotional imbalance, emotional attachment, and eventually to infidelity. And many homes have been affected because of that. We have seen bosses going out with their secretary. We have heard bosses going out with their younger colleagues at work. We have seen that happen. It's still going on. And these people are married, or they're probably divorced. And they are chasing after someone who is trying to save his own or her own marriage. But you got to be careful. These are things that are there. These are external influences that can affect your marriage. You got to protect your marriage against it. It's there. I'm just mentioning it to you that you know that they are there. These are the weapons that the enemy uses to bring disunity, to bring harm to your marriage. I want to read something to you in Proverbs chapter number 5, verse 15. Proverbs chapter number 5, verse 15. Let me read it to you from the Bible so you see it yourself and take a note of it. It says, drink water. Okay, let me share with you Proverbs chapter 5, verse 15. Here he says, where is it? Okay. Taking a while to come up. It says, verse 16. Let's read from verse 15. He said, drink water. Did you notice? He says, drink water from your own well. Verse 15. Share your love only with your wife. Did you hear that? Look at verse 16. Why spill the water of your springs in the streets, having sex with just anyone? Why? Look at verse 17. You should reserve it for yourselves. Never share it with strangers. Look at verse 18. Let your wife be a fountain of blessing for you. Rejoice in the wife of your youth. Did you hear that? Those are wisdom. Those are wisdom. So, faithfulness and satisfaction within one's own marriage is what is encouraged by that verse. Rather than seeking on fulfillment outside it. Rather than seeking fulfillment outside the marriage, it says, hey, seek satisfaction. Now, if you're having problem with your intimate life, fix it. Talk about it. Fix it. It's fixable. It can be discussed. That's why you're partners. That's why you're married. That's why you're husband and wife. Talk about it if you're having problem. with your intimate lives. Resolve it instead of wishing and admiring others outside your home, especially in workplaces, because that's the place you spend most of your time of your life in every day. 8 hours, a minimum of 8 hours in that place. And you could spend 8 hours with that fellow, or some hours within that 8 hours with that fellow, looking around each other's shoulders and eyeing each other. And that's terrible. Don't put yourself there. Number 5, financial stress. Now, this is one of the major causes or challenges that even those in Europe are facing right now. Financial stress. Financial stress is one of the external forces that affects the marriage that you must protect your marriage against. Now, financial difficulties is real. The influence of materialism also is real. And these two can put strain on your marriage. They can strain your marriage. They can lead to arguments. They can lead to blames. They can lead to unhealthy work life. You see, because of financial pressure, the man is working 2 jobs, spending 8 hours per job, spending 8 hours or 12 hours per job. What time does he have? And he works 5 days a week. What time does he have to spend with the children? What time does he have to even try to make babies? What time does he have to spend with the spouse? He had no time because there's financial need, the pressure to make more money. And that is there. So he puts him in a state of imbalance. He puts her in a state of imbalance. Wives doing 3 jobs. That can bring financial strain. So what is the result? Now, another thing I find that actually leads to this financial stress is materialism. The need to appear prosperous and successful in the eyes of others. The need to catch up with what others are doing. You see, that pressure alone can hurt you and your partner. Is contributing to the unhealthiness of your marriage. I want to read a verse of scripture to you just to drive it home so you understand what that I'm trying to tell you. It is in Hebrews chapter number 5. Hebrews chapter number 5. I want to show you something there in Hebrews, book of Hebrews, the New Testament, chapter number 5. And I'm reading chapter 13, Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. Let me show you quickly. It says, look at that, Hebrews 13, verse 5. Do not love money. Do not love money. Did you notice? Do not love money. Be satisfied with what you have. Be satisfied with what you have. For God has said, I will never fail you. I will never abandon you. So be satisfied with what you have. And this is a problem with many. Insatisfaction with what they have. Many are not satisfied with what they have. No, they're not. And it's a big problem. So, what are you supposed to do? By placing trust in God, you need to learn to place your trust in God rather than material wealth. So as couples, you got to place your trust in God and now work hard. There's no telling of working. You need to work. You need to work hard, yes. But you see, while you're working hard, be content with what you have. Be satisfied with what God is giving you. What God is giving you from one level to another level. Be satisfied. And then grow from there. Walk through your financial difficulty together without being led astray by material desires. These are very important things to look into. Number six, the peer pressure and societal norms. The peer pressure and societal norms. I've already talked a little bit on the societal norms when I spoke about entertainment and media. But let me address something about peer pressure. Sometimes what happened in our culture, what happened in our society, what happened within our friends tends to speak more volume to us than what we should consider that is biblical values. You must have something to compare with. You see, you are, as a married couple, a believer, you are supposed to live the biblical values as a couple. Now, whatever is outside that should be scrutinized, critically scrutinized. You cannot accept any permissive views. No, you can't. You can't accept any permissive views on divorce. You can't accept any casual discussions on relationships that play down on relationships. You can't accept those things. You don't allow it from your peer pressure or peer friends. You can't allow it from the society. It doesn't matter what culture you're from. Anything that speaks to the permissiveness of infidelity, that speak to the permissiveness of divorce, that speak to the permissiveness of casual relationships. You know what? You see, they call it open. Do you know they call something like this open marriage? I've heard about that. I said, what is that? I went on Google to find out what it means. What is open marriage? I was shocked what I read. So people are literally married, and they're also open to external. That means they are in marriage. They can also accommodate other people. They can have external affairs. And both couple will agree to sign that deal to say, you know what, we are married, but we are in open marriage. Where does that come from? What kind of society are we in? In Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, do not conform to this world. Do not live your life in the pattern of this world. It said, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Do not custom your life, culture your life to the patterns of this world. It said, do not be conformed to the patterns, to the manner of life of this world. It told us that. It said, but be transformed. Be transformed. Imagine somebody will wake up and get married and decide to go on a status marriage called open marriage. Open. To what? To another man. I'm married, but I'm open. What does that mean? You are not married. You are adulterous. That's what it means. You are an adulterous person. You are not married. You say, I'm married, I'm open to something else. You're married, you're open to another man. You're married, you're open to, so they call it open marriage. And then husband and wife will say, that's terrible. Those are societal norms. Terrible. It's not become normal in the society. They will put it there as a marital status, open marriage. Which one is closed? Which one is half open? Terrible things going on in society. So be careful. That's what it's telling you. Be careful. Those are not biblical principles. Those are not biblical values. Anything outside biblical values for your marriage is worth of scrutiny. You have to scrutinize it. You have to critically look into it with the eyes of the Bible information, Bible views. Very important. Number 7. We're almost there. Number 7. I have 10 points for you. Number 7, infidelity and temptation. Temptation could be unfaithful. Temptation to be unfaithful. All right. The temptation to be unfaithful can arise from every direction of your life. As you're walking the streets, you are in the car, you are anywhere. Temptation to be unfaithful can arise anytime. But do not find yourself yielding, because temptation is okay, because it comes to test your faithfulness. It comes to test your principles, your rules. It came to test your agreement. If you are going to be faithful to what you said, if you're going to be faithful to what you agreed to do. So temptation is okay. It's to prove you, is to prepare you, is to test you. But don't yield to it. Like flirting with other women, flirting with other men. Don't yield to those temptations. Emotional affairs. Don't give in to it. Do not give in to it. Those are not the things you must put yourself in. The thoughts you accommodate. If you accommodate infidelity thoughts, if you accommodate lustful thoughts outside the confinement of your marriage, it will destroy your home. Infidelity thoughts and being yielding to temptation, captured by temptation. So be a victim of every temptation. No, you not say, oh, it was the devil that tempted me. No, the temptation was there so that you can avoid it. There is no temptation that will come to you that you do not have the power to overcome. Every temptation that comes to you, it is that you have already the victory. That's why it comes to you. You have the power to overcome. Number 8, lack of spiritual fellowship. Lack of spiritual fellowship. Many couples today are going through whatever they're going through in their marriage because they lack spiritual fellowship. They have not learned to associate with spiritual values, with biblical principles, a place where they can gather and learn about biblical principles that will help them in their lives, in their marriage, and in their relationship. So they are invaded with other activities, other social activities that is against them being in the spiritual fellowship that will help them grow. What I mean by that is not having a church community or a mentor, a spiritual mentor who can encourage you, in your tough times in marriage, who can guide you in your tough time in marriage and encourage you on your spiritual growth. When you don't do that, you are exposing your marriage to all of these external forces. Make no mistakes about it. Your protection is in the presence of God. Your protection, it will come from God and by his values and principles that you live by. And the community of the church is where the place that those things are supposed to be taught. And when you go there, you are taught the values of those things and the biblical values to protect your home, your children, and your husband and your wife. You learn those things and be stronger. You are not avoiding those things and staying on social media and then participating on other social community activities and never participating in the fellowship, spiritual fellowship that could strengthen you and give you hope in tough times. Many couples they lack all of that, and it's terrible. to have that going on, especially believers. So you read Hebrews chapter 10 from verse 24 to 25. He encourages us. He says, let us consider how we spur one another on to love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together like some of you do. People giving up in fellowship as believers. We're having marriage conference on biblical values. You are not there. We are praying for families. You are not there. Where are you then? Where were you? We're praying for marriages. You are not there to pray. So regular fellowship helps you as a couple to remain spiritually strong and accountable. You become accountable. It provides that for you. Regular fellowship, providing protection against negative external influences. Number nine, comparison to other people. You compare your marriage to other couples. You say, didn't you see that couple? That's how they do their thing. Let's do it. Why can't we do our own like that? You know, some women talk that way. Some men even talk, don't you see that mama this or sister this or Mrs. that? Don't you see the way she look? Don't you see the way she dressed? Why can't you just dress nice? What concerns you with other people? Why are you comparing your wife with other women? Why are you comparing your wife with your neighbor? Why are you comparing your husband with other men? That is exposing your marriage to external forces, external influences that would destroy your home. So this is one of the external influences. You see, the need to compare your spouse with others. So constantly comparing your marriage to others, whether in terms of marital success or failure or affection or lifestyle, doesn't matter. All of them can create discontentment in your marriage. They create discontentment in your marriage. So stay away from it. It's not a good practice. It's not a good practice. Focus on one thing, your own marriage. That's all. Focus on one thing and one thing alone, your own marriage. Instead of comparing it to others, just stay focused on your own. With this, you will be able to reduce all of the influences and discontentment that may happen in your home if you will just focus. Number 10, lastly, number 10, unresolved past relationships. Now, past relationships and friendship that you had that were too close. You were having close relationship in the past, and you are still in that kind of closeness with that past relationship. You are not that you are not intimate with them, but you are in a close relationship with them in such a way that you still talk with them, you still share things with them, you still want to know, liaise with them. I'm not saying have an enmity with them. No, that's good to have friendship, but a close one can endanger or pose risk to your marriage. If not destroy it properly, it would destroy it if you do not manage it well. I'm not saying do not talk to your ex-girlfriend as by human conversation. I'm not saying do not talk to your ex-boyfriend when in terms of friendship and humanity. But when it comes to closeness and you are getting too close and you are still regularly talking to them, seeking counsel and advices from them, complaining to them, and then when you need someone to talk to, they're the one to turn to, that can be risky. That can be risky. You want to avoid that. Stay away from that. They are in the past. Let the past be past. Resolve that and let it go. And let it go. Let it go. Second Timothy chapter 2 verse 22 says, flee the evil desires of your youth. Flee the evil desire of your youth. Pursue righteousness, he says. So the evil desire of your youth, flee them, let them go. Those were when you were not yourself. You were not a believer. You were not responsible. You were not serious. So they happened then. So let it go. Flee from them and pursue only righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the name of the Lord out of pure hearts. Pursue those. Stick to the right thing. So couples should ensure that their relationship outside of marriage are conducted in purity. Every relationship that you have outside of marriage, let it be conducted in purity. Avoid maintaining all those ties, all those closeness. Avoid it in totality, because they can lead to temptation. They can lead to temptation. So, on a final note, I believe you have learned something today. On a final note, the Bible provides us wisdom and guidance to guide us, to guide our marriage against external influences. And that's what I've shared with you today. All of these are from the Bible. Everything I've shared with you today, they are from the scriptures. Bible principles that you can use to walk against and fight against external influences. So as couples, I encourage you to activate these things in your life. Be active in prayer. Study and practice the word of God in your marriage, and you will be happy you do, or you will be experiencing bliss every day of your life if you put these things to work. You see, God promised you joy. He promised you peace. He never fails. Only if you disregard his rules and values for your life. I believe you have been blessed today. I believe you have been inspired. I believe you have been educated and informed. So I encourage you to stay with these truths. I encourage you to let these thoughts abide in your heart. Practice them. Practice them every day. Walk in the light of it. It will help you. It will help you. And also, protect your marriage with all your heart. Protect your marriage with all your heart. I encourage you to do so, because it will change everything. It will change everything for you. All right, then. Thank you so much. I believe you have learned something today. And that's the end of our section today. If you are watching us on YouTube, I will encourage you to hit the subscribe button, like it, and share this video for others to watch. And next week, we're going to be back to share more in regard to family and marriage. And it will be a blessing to you. I believe it will be a blessing to you. So stay tuned and expect more of this to come. I pray for your marriage today that God will keep you. I pray for you and your family that God will protect and provide for you and preserve you from every harm and grant you peace and prosperity. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.